Hi guys, today we're going to talk about a really simple one, which is tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. So these two are very closely related. Tennis elbow refers to tightness and inflammation on the top side of your forearm, usually presenting up around here in the elbow joint, obviously, hence the name tennis elbow. And then golfer's elbow is the opposite side underneath, just down here where the forearm attaches in to the elbow joint here. Very, very closely related. The exercises that we do to fix them are very, very similar, as are the stretches to alleviate your pain. So what's basically happening is, like I mentioned, a tightness and a weakness in these forearm flexors and extensors. It's usually coming because maybe you're overworking them, maybe you're putting them into an uncomfortable position through typing, or maybe you're just trying to grip a little bit too much when you're doing your chin-ups or your rows or anything like that. So, like I mentioned, there are some stretches we need to do, there are some strengthens we need to do. Let's get talking about them now. Okay, when it comes time for stretches for your forearm, it's actually pretty simple. There's not a huge amount you can do really. You just want to keep that elbow locked out straight and pulling the wrist back, pulling the hand back, getting that tension through here. If your forearm is really tight, if you're in acute pain, you'll probably start to feel a little bit of pain up here, so don't go as hard. But if you're not too bad through the pain, try and really pull those fingers back like that. What's important is that you keep your elbow locked out straight. If that elbow is bent, you're not going to get the effect of it. Vice versa, for golfer's elbow, it's the exact opposite. Lock out the elbow this way, pull the fingers back and open up through that elbow joint as much as you can. Again, you want to keep that elbow straight. If that elbow is bent, it's going to take all the pressure off at this point. Something else you want to add into your daily routine is some trigger point and some myofascial release. Obviously, you can't really do this with a foam roller. Look at the size of that forearm relative to a foam roller. It's not going to work. You're going to do it yourself using your thumb. So what you're going to do is lock out that forearm, get your thumb into the affected area and just hold, find that trigger point. Then from here, you're going to flex and relax that forearm. So you can see those forearm muscles working, keeping that thumb in. Press as hard as you can. Forearm comes up, forearm comes down, forearm comes up, forearm comes down. It's just going to release the tension and the spasm in that forearm. In the shower, I always recommend get some soap, get that nice and smooth, and you can go up and down, pressing in really hard and relieving a little bit of pressure, finding the sore tendon, the sore muscle, and going as hard as you can into that muscle there. You can do the exact same on the bottom. So again, find that trigger point. It's usually going to be on the inside of your elbow. So not the outside, the inside of your elbow. Press that thumb into that trigger point and then flex and relax. Flex and stretch. Flex and stretch. And then the same thing. You can go forwards, you can work through here. Use some soap, use some Vaseline or some sort of moisturizer to make that a little bit smoother. Okay, we've done our daily stretching routine. Let's talk about your daily strength routine. So a lot of it, as you can tell, is probably that same exercise, and I alluded to it in that previous stretch with the pressing in. You actually want to do the same thing as a strength exercise, but these muscles aren't super strong, so you actually just want to use, at first, level 1, your own body weight as the resistance. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to straighten out this wrist, I'm going to straighten out this elbow. Using my opposite hand, I'm going to push down, and then I'm pushing back up against my hand. Pushing that wrist down, stretching that forearm, and then pushing back up against that hand. So I'm applying pressure down with my top hand, and I'm trying to lift it up as though it's a weight, and I'm pushing up against gravity. So I'm down here, and I push up, push up, push up, and then using my top hand, I'm pushing it back down. Now there's tension on the whole time. What I'm not doing is just plopping it down. I actually want to work on the way down. Imagine you're at the top of a squat, you've got weight, slow 2, 3 on the way down. It's the same thing. I've got my pressure here, my top hand is pushing my hand down, slow 2, 3. Open it back up, slow 2, 3. And I feel that stretch and work through the top of that forearm. Vice versa, you're doing the exact same thing for the golfer's elbow. Coming up, slow, 2, 3. Open up, slow, 2, 3. And flex, slow, 2, 3. Once you're out of the real acute stage, because the thing with that is you can determine how hard the pain is. Once you're out of that real acute stage, you can start using some weight. But you're not going to need a lot of weight. Here's what I recommend for people at home. Just a 1 litre bottle of milk. So from here, again, keep that elbow locked out. So I place your other hand under, down, and back up and hold. Down, and back up and hold. Down, and the same thing. This side. Lock out the elbow. Now this one you want to have it pointing down because obviously you're lifting up against gravity. You want to curl it up and then slow, 2, 3. Curling it up, slow, 2, 3. If you lift it up a little bit, you might get a little bit more gravity against. So you can see here, I curl up and I hold and slow, 2, 3. Curling up and hold, slow, 2, 3. Our next exercise, also using that 1 litre bottle of milk, is holding and rotating. Rotating as far out one way as we can, and then rotating back as far as we can. Now what I'm doing here is I'm keeping that elbow perfectly still. So I'm not turning at the shoulder. I'm trying to keep my shoulder and elbow perfectly still. I rotate, I rotate, I rotate as far as I can, and then I rotate, I rotate, I rotate as far as I can without that elbow moving too much, because I'm trying to stretch the rotators. I'm trying to stretch through the forearm without the shoulder doing all the stretching for me. For those stretches, you want to go for about a minute, okay? Moving back and forward through that range of motion. With that trigger point, the same thing, about a minute at a time. And for your strength stuff, if you can't do 1 minute, it's not supposed to be an ultra heavy thing. If you can't do 1 minute, then you're probably going too hard, either using the hand or the weight that you're holding is too heavy. Of course, if you can last up around the minute of time under tension, then you can go a little bit heavier. I just used the 1 kilo, 1 litre example earlier, but if you want to go a little bit harder, if you've maybe got a 2 kilo dumbbell you can progress to, as that forearm tendonitis will get better, your strength will get better as well, and you'll be able to lift heavier, and you should lift heavier. If you can get through a minute without pain, go heavier. Just go up 1 kilo at a time, or in water bottle terms, another litre at a time. And that's it. Tennis elbow and golfer's elbow is actually a pretty simple thing to get on top of. It's a very common injury for anyone that's going to be doing any lifting or sitting at a desk even typing. So it's something that you can get on top of pretty quickly by doing those daily stretches, daily trigger pointing, and daily strength work as well. Doesn't even take you a lot of time to do. 1 minute of stretch, 1 minute of trigger point, 1 minute on each side of strength daily. Ideally, you do a little bit more if you can handle it. If you wake up tomorrow and you're not getting any pain, maybe do 2 or 3 sets of the strength stuff. But there's not a lot of exercises to do. It's not like a lot of our other rehab exercises or injuries where you're spending, 15, 20 minutes doing multiple exercises. This is it. There's only 1 or 2 things here to do, just a couple of minutes per day, and you can get on top of that tennis or golfer's elbow really, really quickly. Good luck, guys. See you soon.